Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack, and in today's video we're going to test the 4070 Ti with Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to take a look at 4K and 1440p with native resolution, DLSS on, and ray tracing. Have big hopes that with the 40 series that ray tracing has gone up a notch. I kind of upgraded from a 6700 XT where ray tracing was utter crap. You turn that on and FPS just tanked. So let's see what happens here. Let's go jump on a highway and start driving around. Well, starting off native, we're only getting about 40 FPS. Let's go. Well, here we are cruising on the highway. Native resolution at 4K, and it's being pretty consistent. We have an average of 29, a 1% low of 24, and the 0.1% low of 22. So not the highest as far as FPS goes, but it is still pretty consistent. It's not spiking. It's pretty smooth. If you wanted to, I can't see why you couldn't play at this FPS during maybe some intense scenes. It might, spike. Well, by spike I mean the frame time might spike, so the FPS would definitely drop. But so far, it's been pretty good. Now let's see what happens when we turn DLSS on. Wrong button. Doop. Settings, DLSS, quality. See what happens with 0.5. So we got a lot going on in this scene, and it brought performance up, well, the average FPS up to 47. So we got a good 17 FPS boost. The 1% low is at 37 and 0.1% at 27. Again, there's nothing causing any kind of frame time spikes, so everything is running pretty smoothly. So in this game, we're using up 8.6 gigs of VRAM. Oddly enough, I was just playing Modern Warfare 2, and that game was using 11.5 gigs of VRAM. So 12 for this sort of GPU just doesn't seem like the ideal amount. NVIDIA should have given this GPU probably 20 gigs. That probably would have been best, because then you'd have with twofold. You'd have more RAM, because as these games get bigger and bigger, more detailed, it's going to require more VRAM. But as well, the number of lanes would be increased, so it would have a much higher bit rate. Because right now I think it has 182, so it doesn't have a very high bus width because of that. But if it would have had 20, that means it would have an extra 4 lanes, which would give it quite a bit higher bit rate, and just increase the amount of access that the GPU would have to that RAM, and be able to access a lot more and a lot faster. Anyway, so cruising around here, the average FPS has been staying quite consistent, and it's very playable with DLSS on, and it definitely gives you much more of a buffer for any of those more demanding scenes that might cause the FPS to drop a bit. Let's see what happens with ray tracing and native. Let's turn you off. Turn you on. Let's turn everything on. Ray trace light. Let's go with Psycho. See what happens. We'll apply that. Okay. Yeah. This is definitely not easy to play. This doesn't work. Let's see if DLSS makes any difference. Based on what I'm seeing there, I doubt it, but it's fun to try. Well, that definitely did get a little bit of a boost. Well, geez, if ray trace, or well, yeah, if ray tracing is important to you, with DLSS on, you don't see much of an impact. DLSS off, yeah, 12 FPS, you're not going to play it at that, but at 40, you can manage. Okay, let's drop this down to 1440. We will go turn that off, and we'll turn ray tracing off. So we're still at ultra. I'm just saying custom because I have DLSS and ray tracing off. Apply it. Let's go back into the game. All right, so dropping the resolution from 4K down to 1440p, and we're seeing a double up in average FPS. It went from 30-ish up to 63. So that is quite a bit of an improvement. Again, the 1% lows are at 46 and the 0.1 at 26. But in general, the frames are pretty stable. The average is, well, there's no big frame time spikes. It keeps dipping a little bit, but nothing major. Oh, that was a little bit of a spike, but still keeping a constant average of 60. All right, so we went from around the low 60s close to 90. So we almost got a 50% boost in frames by turning DLSS on. With the 1% lows of 60 and 0.1% at, ooh, I'm flying. At 51. It's a pretty high traffic area as well, so it should be taxing the GPU a little bit to render all these moving objects. All right, let's go ahead and try ray tracing. Let's turn that back off. Turn ray tracing on. Everything's on. Perfect. Well, at 1440p, turning ray tracing on does not have the same impact as doing it at 4K. You can still play it at native resolution here. We are at an average of 54. So that's much better. Okay, it dipped down a bit to 50, so still good. We lost to what was it, 12 FPS or so, a little bit more than that off of native resolution without ray tracing. .5, okay, all the same as before. And okay, so we're seeing high 70s, which again, with or without ray tracing on, we're losing maybe 10 to 15 FPS on the average. The 1% low is still a high at around 53, and the 0.1% is hitting 45. So, no, this card can handle, as long as you have DLSS turned on, you can play 4K ultra settings with ray tracing on, or with 1440p. Both work. Again, don't know how well this would work in some of the more high, and more of a high action scene. But driving around here with multiple cars, it's working pretty well. So again, my major concern with this card isn't that it can't, you know, it can't handle it. It's a pretty powerful card. It's just that I think NVIDIA crippled it with giving it such low RAM. Like really, what was it? 3060 Ti has 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that thing cannot hold a candle to this GPU. Where this should be competitive with a 3090 in performance, it does. It doesn't have the RAM. I wonder how fast this thing would be if it actually had more RAM in it and a higher bit rate.